Tonight, a follow-up to a story we first brought you last week. Activists are calling it a bait and switch, a resolution that was supposed to protect a critical nesting area for marine birds in the northern basin of Biscayne Bay.
But the resolution that actually passed removed important language that environmentalists say offers those birds no protection at all. Here's environmental advocate Louis Aguirre with the fight to save the rookery in tonight's Don't Trash Our Treasure.
A lot of speeding jet skis spinning around not only on the channel, but they're actually coming into the bay. Like yesterday, there were several.
For months, environmentalists have been sounding the alarm that the marine birds of Mangrove Island and northern Biscayne Bay are under threat.
They're raising their young there. If you have jet skis and people fishing in the area, you're going to be disrupting them.
Carelessly discarded fishing gear has already taken a deadly toll, especially on the once imperiled brown pelicans that are still supposed to be protected.
This is a specific halotype, a genetic population that exists nowhere else.
This enough to motivate Miami City Commissioner Sabina Covo to step up.
A lot of the birds have been killed.
In July, Covo successfully sponsored a resolution to put up these signs telling people to keep off the island after FWC confirmed that marine birds were in fact nesting here, using it as a rookery.
The island behind me in July 13th, was documented with several brown pelican nests.
So Covo went back to commission with a new resolution to prohibit all motorized boating within 500 feet of the island as per FWC guidelines, and also establishing an idle speed zone east of the rookery, already a manatee protected area. Activists thought it was going to be a slam dunk, but not so fast.
And there's a lot of concerns coming from FIND about their work in keeping the navigation open.
FIND, the Florida Inland Navigation District, a special state taxing district that manages and maintains the intracoastal from Nassau County down to Miami-Dade, and also provides local governments with grants to help improve coastal properties like Morningside Park directly across Mangrove Island.
You know, we're not in favor of that kind of thing. So
FIND is opposed to any kind of boating or fishing restriction in the area. And before the vote, the chairman sent this email out to all commissioners stating that FIND would reconsider a $4.3 million grant for Morningside Park improvements if the resolution passed.
You know, if that's the kind of thing that the city or different groups want to do in Biscayne Bay, that's fine. They can do it on our own. They're certainly not going to have our support through our grant funding.
Covo worked with the city attorney to add an amendment stating that the city would work with FIND to help protect the rookery. But that's not what happened.
What passed was completely different. It did not establish any restrictions to boating whatsoever. Exactly what the birds need, they took out of the item.
I felt deceived.
Commissioner Covo says she was blindsided.
It removed, unfortunately, and we noticed that afterwards, the word motorized vessels or motorboats.
Motion carries unanimously.
When the item passed, activists cheered until they realized that all references to boating restrictions were at the last minute removed.
I was really shocked that they would meddle into this.
But it is FWC that has jurisdiction here and does have the authority to make this a vessel exclusion zone, especially if more nesting behavior is observed.
And they're coming back out again in December. And we hope that we do monthly data collection to establish potentially other species that are going through courting and carrying nesting material right now.
But FIND is adamant any restrictions on boating is off limits and says what's needed is more enforcement.
The rules and laws that we have on the books right now need to be enforced.
But for those advocating for the birds, this rookery needs protection and say FIND is overreaching here.
But in reality, the boating restriction did not in any way whatsoever impede access to Morningside Park. It did not impede access to the channel. So it really does not impact what their mission as an organization is.
So again, FIND is a special state taxing district. That means FIND is funded by us, the taxpayers of Florida. As a matter of fact, we pay 3.2 cents per $1,000 of our assessed property value. Still, it is FIND who will decide whether or not to grant the $4.3 million for Morningside Park improvements. The board will vote in January. We also have the FWC statement on the newly discovered rookery, plus links to all the resolutions discussed in this story on our website. Just scan that QR code. It'll take you straight to the Don't Trash Our Treasure page on local10.com. Ladies, back to you.
Yeah, and Louis, as with everything, like you said, we are the taxpayers, so putting it out there and letting people know this is what's going on, that's what's
Right.
important, giving
But
us the power.
Fine's position is, hey, this is our taxing district and we can grant those funds where we see fit. And if you restrict boating, we don't think we want to fund that. So we'll see what happens.